Christmas special.
Woo!
Yay.
Welcome to Sparkling Harmonies. We are your hosts, François.
I'm Lily.
We are two friends who don't quite listen to the same bands or genres,
but who are here to talk to you about everything and anything music related. And today
Yay!
is our Christmas
special. Yay! So that was a hard start. we are a bit rusty.
We're a bit rusty, yeah. This is actually going to be the first episode that we've recorded so close to a release date.
Yeah, it's a little bit change of pace.
Yeah. So, what have you been listening to these days, François?
I got a little surprised because I had a band that is in my top 10 of the years.
Mm-hmm.
After releasing a really great album, they surprised everyone with a new single like 2 weeks before the end of the years. So that was great. So the band is Silosis. I hope I pronounced this correctly. They got a song out called Worship Decay. And I'm just listening to it like over and over again for the last at least a week or so.
Wow.
So I'm really into it. I don't know if you know the band Architects.
I've heard of them, yeah. But I don't, I wouldn't be able to.
It's a hardcore band or deathcore band, whatever. But they're maybe a little bit more on the mainstream side. But the guitar player in the band, Josh, also has another side project called Silosis.
Okay.
And that's funny to see the two bands together, because every time Architects have a new album, they go on a big tour. They are pretty big and popular. And every time you see the new release, all the shows, the album and everything. After that, there's a Silosis album, more straightforward, like you want to take a break of all the popular stuff and just having fun with his friends. So that's great. And what about you, Lily? What have you been listening to?
We are in December, so I've been putting my Christmas playlist on repeat. Yeah, so my Christmas playlist consists of albums of the main. They're Christmas albums, so they have one Christmas EP and one, I guess you could call it an EP, but there's 2 songs, I think. Okay. And then there's also the good old Punk Goes Christmas from 10 years ago, I think. So Yellow Card, the Somerset, All Time Lows on there. And then there's also August Burns Red.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas album. Yeah, they have a Christmas album. That's pretty good. I like it.
I didn't know.
Yep, you can check it out. And Reliant K.
Oh, so a new band for me.
And I don't know. I haven't followed them for a while, so I don't even know if they're still doing music.
Okay.
But, these were from those days. And there's the 'Tis the Season to Be Fearless, which was Fearless Records Christmas compilation from a long time ago. I think there's 5-6 bands on that, and I don't think any of them are together anymore.
That's sad. But Christmas is like a time when you want to get comfort food, comfort movies, comfort music. So even if they are not active anymore, it's fun to go back to them and enjoy the song.
It just makes me sad a little bit because I'm like, we're not going to hear new music from these bands. But other than that, I've also been listening to BTS's B album a lot, and I'll get into that a little bit later. And Ige collaboration with Keshi, their song Pillows. It's very good. It's so I'm very bad at identifying and categorizing music.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
So I'd say this is mellow pop, chill, alternative, maybe indie. Check it out on YouTube. You can't find it on Spotify, sadly. So just check it out on YouTube. It's very good. The vocals are very strong. The lyrics are pretty good. So check it out.
Oh, nice. That's cool. And just for my own culture, or at least to my own curiosity, I hope you have a Blink-182 Christmas song in your playlist.
I think there is. Yeah, there is.
I hope
There
so.
has to be because they've gone up on my Spotify listen stats.
Oh,
So they
because we
have to be
talk
in there
about them.
somewhere.
We talk about them a lot with our first guest, Gabe, and
Yeah.
I think with Simone too. We
Yeah, we
talk about
did.
Blink 182.
Yeah.
So
Mostly about Travis.
yeah, but we will talk more about Travis later during the show.
Yeah. So today for our Christmas special, we are wrapping up our 2020. So we're going to be talking about, our experience with the podcast so far.
Yes.
And we're also going to give you an insight into our top 9, 10.
10-ish.
It's our show. We do what we want.
Yeah, and I don't know, that's kind of hard to like take a whole year, especially this year. To my surprise, there was a lot of release, like
Yeah.
all around. Like I'm not talking about just like what I'm listening to. I saw many, many, many releases in 2020,
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard to like compress that in what you're supposed to be the best of. But sometimes it's just fun to do the exercise and force yourself to listen more and like maybe admit some guilty pleasure around.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, I think honestly, my list is pretty straightforward, pretty representative of me. You won't find anything very surprising in mine. I probably didn't really listen into much of well, no, that's not true. I did listen to some of the new releases this year, but it's mostly diving back into old bands actually because I had the time.
Yeah, but that's great too. It's music. I think there's no no, not hand date, but preemption date. Is that the correct word?
Yeah.
On a
Expiration.
music, yeah, expiration date. Sorry, on an album or a band.
Yeah.
Like if you enjoy it, that's fun, and like don't stop yourself because it's an
Yeah.
older album.
No, true. So, how did you find our podcast experience, Francois?
I really, really enjoy it, but at first, that was a bit frightening for me, especially when you push me a bit to do it in English because it's not that hazy to me to speak for the whole time. And since I don't speak in English on my day-to-day basis, so I'm still in the process to think in French, translate, and
I
speak
see.
after. It's
Yeah.
not natural yet, but I think I'm getting here slowly.
I think you're doing great. And I've had comments saying that, we understand you. So that's what's the most important, right?
Yeah, we're having fun, so
Also, yeah, that's also what's most important, mostly.
yeah. And I think especially this year, the podcasting is like it's a fun way to have like a contact with friends and
Yeah.
speak about something fun for a change. And there's a part of me that really hope everything gonna get set up like as soon as possible
Yeah.
because we never experienced the one-on-one face-to-face podcast recording
Yeah.
experience.
Where we're not looking at the camera and the screen and the
Yeah.
camera and the screen.
Like-
Because the reason I keep looking down is because Francois is on my screen, which that's down here. But sometimes I'm like, whoop, I should look at the camera
Yeah,
every
the
once in
camera,
a
the
while, which is
camera.
up here.
And I really hope it will translate that we're having fun. I hope at least like together and speak about music and probably like having more of a dynamic because the screens filter or at least stop a bit.
There is a certain limitation on what we can do screen to screen versus in real life. So yeah, I can't wait till we can get to do this in person as well.
Yeah,
because we listen to the rules.
yeah, and maybe like do something special, like recording outside or whatever, having someone with us on the same spot, not in this on the screen. And I don't know. I'm looking forward for this.
Yeah, me too.
And what about you? Did you enjoy the whole thing? Did you?
I had a lot of fun. So, my goal was to get back into a certain type of journalism. So spoiler for 2021, we've got our next series already planned and already recorded partly, which is going to be our Confront magazine series, which is the magazine that I used to work with that sadly doesn't exist anymore. So I was just very nostalgic of that era of mine. And so I kind of wanted to get back into that, to talk about music, to maybe interview. And I got to do all of that a little bit since we had our guests. And so that was fun. I also discovered a few artists through our guests. So that was also cool.
That's another good thing about it. You heard about every other music universe around you that maybe sometimes you never cross in your journey. So,
and what I learned is I also have a lot of fun editing videos and adding little like sound effects and little quirky little things for our Instagram. Mostly on our Instagram.
And we have like special appearance by your boyfriend sneezing in the background.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I would like to thank him to give us the biggest help ever with all the website programmation and all the stuff I don't know about and I'm not really good into. So
if
thank you, Jack. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. So if you go on to sparklingharmonies.com, Jack, my boyfriend, is the one who made it. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, a lot. Seriously, it's a job that's had up to, and we don't have to do. So that's cool.
And thanks to that, we didn't need to go through, any of those sites that exist already to get our podcast everywhere, like Anchor, whatever. I know those are good websites, but we get to do it on our own very own.
Yes. So that's cool. Thank you, Jack, for that. We love you. Big heart.
Even though you sneeze sometimes.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's like I said, that's the part of doing it remotely.
Yeah.
Like he still have a life to do and enjoy his own house. So that's
but happening. I mean, if we end up filming, if we film at your place, we won't have that problem because you have a space that's closed. But if we film at my place, we're still gonna have that problem because my house is pretty open.
That's part of the fun. Even if Lily, your cat, because you have a cat named to yourself.
It was Jack's cat first.
And that's part of it. If she jump onto the table and join us, okay, why not?
yeah, that's true. There's other unexpected things that can happen also.
Yes. And for myself, the podcast bring us some other challenges, especially all the music, audio and video editing. I was comfortable in audio editing, but not at all with the video stuff. I had to take some time to learn over YouTube and other sites to just get my head around it, because you can screw up really easy. Like you split the screen and the person in front of you is like, and you don't understand what she's saying. So,
oh no! So thank you, a big thank you to Francois for that, because my laptop didn't deal well with video editing. I tried and it just didn't work. I'm gonna get a new one soon, so maybe I'll be able to help.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's gonna help, and we will have some fun stuff around, because I know you like to have.
I love doing that.
All the sparkly stuff around. So, but overall, the podcast experience is going well, and I really enjoy it, and I hope we will. We'll be there next year after a whole year of production and recording to enjoy.
And we thank everybody who's listening, no matter how many people there are. We're very grateful that you give us a listen or a watch. I don't know if. And you probably noticed if you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook, you probably noticed our sound quality get better.
Yeah, we try. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, because for the audio files, I think after a couple of episodes, you nailed it. But it was for the videos that it was a little bit. One comment my mom had was, "We can hear you like you're yelling, but Francois, we don't really hear him."
Yeah, but our voice range is not on the same we're like from afar,
Mm-hmm.
and especially when you look at the sound wave of it.
Mine's like,
That
woo.
yeah, yours are really dynamic, and that's great. But mine is like I'm like two octave down, and so it's a bit challenging. But I think I'm getting to it.
Mm-hmm. So how are we going to do this top 10 or 9 or top-ish?
I think we'll just go through like all the artists or album or genres that talked to us more during the last year because I know for sure there's some surprise in my
Mm-hmm.
list because I made some discoveries like left field from what I'm used to.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
I think when we talk about it, you bring a point that was interesting. It's not necessarily an album, but sometimes it's an artist
Mm-hmm.
that open our mind or like bring us to something else. So it's not like a proper top
Yeah,
10
no.
album of the year.
No.
It's not exactly that.
No,
So
for me, definitely it's not a top 10 albums. When Francois sent me his kind of tentative top 10, I was like, oh, we're not going into the same direction. But I mean, it's fine. If he wanted to continue that way, it's just for me, it's more like a top 10 artists
okay.
because I just couldn't.
But on the other hand, for me, that was the total opposite. I was like, oh my God, I have like a non-good album on my list because I built up a best of list on my Spotify
Mm-hmm.
over the years. Every time an album strikes me, I put it in the list. And
Oh, okay, I
when I
see.
listen to it or look around what was in it, I was like, oh my God, there's like a non-good title. What I'm going to do with that? And
Right.
each time I try to compress it to around 10,
Mm-hmm.
I came back and I was like, oh no, I had to put this one. But if I put this one, I have to remove
You have
one.
to
That was,
remove one, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's you really could have gone as far as you want. Remember our I don't know if it's out yet. Our most memorable shows episode. This is from the Get to Know
no,
series.
it's the next one.
It's the next one.
No
So I
spoiler.
we were supposed to have our top show, our most memorable show. It might end up being my most memorable 2, 3, 4 shows.
And yeah, and I think we got a segue and we start talking about something else. Surprise.
um,
So
yeah.
that's fine. So
Um,
if you're ready, let's jump in.
let's do it. So I guess
Number 10.
number 10, but it's not really. I think for me it's number 9 because I only have 9 spots. that's why it was 10-ish.
10-ish. Okay.
Is actually an honorable mention to 3 bands that I listened to not that much this year, but still relatively because so Water Parks, I listened to them a little bit because they released a new album. I'm not even sure if they released it at this year at the end of last year. So I listened to them a little bit. With Confidence, for a couple of weeks I had their albums on rotation, even though they released nothing. But I think they were doing they posted a video with Rock Sound
Okay.
of I think Jaden doing acoustic songs, so that made me jump back into them a little bit because that's what I realized also. So this year I discovered my huge love for 2 bands that took up probably around 80% of my music listening, which is why, like we've had this discussion before where I say I get into phases. And when I get into a big phase, that will be the only thing I listen to for a while. So there's these 2 bands that took over 80% of my time, but the other bands that took the rest of the part of my time were bands that stayed active throughout the pandemic.
Okay. They
So
keep you interested in them.
exactly, either by doing live streams or doing events or posting, because they just kept reminding me that they're there.
Okay.
So with Confidence, I listened to a little bit because of that. And then a new band that I discovered in my Korean world discoveries this year was N Flying, which is a pop rock band, very upbeat. I discovered them more in the fall, but
Okay.
I've listened to them quite a lot. So those are my honorable mentions of
That's
this
great.
year. What about you?
The first surprise. My number 10 is actually Blackpink.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I'm nowhere near a K-pop fan, nowhere near a K-drama or movies or whatever. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
really into Korean culture.
You
I,
really should check out the Korean dramas on Netflix. So they're really good. I know you have a lot of vacation these coming weeks. You should check one out.
we listened to what's the name? It's it's a nurse in school. The school nurse files or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that one.
It's like a fantasy horror love story.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one we. Oh no, whatever. Don't talk too much about movies. But I listen to. I think it's Kingdom. It's a
Oh
zombie.
yeah,
It's
my
based on
mom.
a webcomic, I think.
Yeah, my mom
So
watched that, but was too scared, so I don't think she finished it.
that was really good, seriously. But to me, first of all, Blackpink, it came across my universe, if you should say, because of you.
Which is
Uh,
surprising because I wasn't into K-pop until this year either.
because you mentioned they had a documentary on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, and especially this year, my wife and I have a hard time with health-related problem with a really close family member, and we
Mm-hmm.
said, so why not just look at something different and quote unquote brainless. We didn't
Yeah,
want to think, just change our mind. And
yeah.
we listened to it. And first thing, we just fall in love with the girls. They look like good friends. I know there's a big marketing thing around, but it's like
Yeah.
their archetype, is that the
Archetype?
correct word? Archetype are really like fun. Like they just seems to enjoy what they're doing, and it
Mm-hmm.
translate when you listen to it. And after that, we just jump, like we dive into all the music videos they have. Uh, that just make us happy because it's
Mm-hmm.
colorful, it's upbeat, especially the all the production around, like photo direction, like all the suit they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it's just really cool to see like where they can go with like that. What's look at the beginning of normal love song, and like they throw like glitters everywhere. There's like big scene in the forest or whatever. They have like
Mm-hmm.
it's really you bigger than it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
and we just dive in and enjoy it. And to the point that when I got my Spotify wrap up,
Wrapped? Yeah.
yeah, since we are in quarantine and we work from home since the first half of March, so it's like what 10 months now. So
Mm-hmm.
my
It's
wife is
crazy.
yeah, my wife is listening to a lot of the Spotify stuff, and normally it's my account because I
Mm-hmm.
am the one who can listen to music when
During
I'm
work.
working, but now she's at home, so she can. And Blackpink just get like to the first or second place. I'm not sure
That's
because
crazy.
yeah, we listen to it a lot. I don't speak Korean. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand Korean, but I think my wife can sing like almost all the song.
That's so
And
funny.
and I don't know if it's a common thing in K-pop or K-rock or whatever, but there's the music video and there's a video to learn the dancing
Yeah,
choreographies.
they do that a lot.
So my wife sometimes listen to the choreography video and she's
Is she
dancing.
learning the choreographies?
Not the whole thing, but she's enjoy it. It's just fun.
Oh, that's so
So
funny.
Blackpink, it's a guilty pleasure, I think we'll call it,
Mm-hmm.
but we really get into it.
Wow. But see, that's really funny that you say it's through me because I haven't listened to K-pop since, until this year. you know? Well, no, that's not true. So this is actually a good segue into my, I guess, my number 8.
Yes.
At some point we're gonna end up at a point where Francois's gonna have 2 in a row because I'm gonna be out.
Maybe.
So it's Korean drama soundtracks, original
Okay.
soundtracks. So what I realized is, yes, I really got into Korean bands this year, but before this, I was already listening to Korean drama soundtracks for years, probably since 2016.
Okay.
Because the last time I really got into a lot of Korean dramas was 2016. And at that point, so the difference between the Korean dramas and like series over here is usually Korean dramas are, there's going to be one season. It's between like 12 to 16 episodes. And they will write a whole new soundtrack with artists for
Okay.
the
Especially for
series.
the
Yeah.
series. Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Versus here, they take music that's already existing and they'll maybe make the theme song. But over there, one recurring theme is every episode, they have their like 2-3 songs that they always play. But then there's also a new song that gets added.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing.
Yeah. But it's actually hard to deal with on Spotify because I can't just go into like, let's say at the beginning of the year, I watched a lot of Korean dramas. So one of them was Crash Landing on You, which I highly recommend. It's very good. It's different. And it was very popular all over this year. So Crash Landing on You, they'll release one song on Spotify per episode until the whole OST is out. But it will be like Crash Landing on You OST part 1, part 2. So it's like a different album each time. So when you want to add them into your playlist, you really have to go and it's tedious. But
yeah, but you can create your own playlist.
Exactly. But you can't just like, add all.
Nah.
So I was listening this year, particularly at the beginning of the year. So we get into these big phases of Korean dramas. My boyfriend and I, him more than me. He watches a lot more than I do, which is funny because he that's like one of the bonding things with him and my mom because my mom watches a lot of Korean dramas.
That's cool. You need to get something to talk with your mother-in-law.
Yeah. So we watched. I don't know, like it's fuzzy between end of 2019, beginning of 2020. But we had this phase where we watched Mr. Sunshine, Vagabond, Korean Odyssey, Hospital Playlist, Crash Landing on You, The King. These are all Korean dramas. And the thing is also, an episode is an hour to like an hour and a half long. Crash Landing on You, it's like a small movie. Every episode is like an hour and a half.
Hey, that looked like English series.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like mini movies. There's not a lot of it, but at least you get like a lot of content in a short times.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
But, so I was consistently listening to all of those soundtracks at the beginning of the year because what happens is I get attached very quickly to the characters, the story, the show. And at the end, I'm just sad and in withdrawal. So I'll listen to the soundtrack to kind of carry on the pleasure of the show.
You got the how you call that the hangover at the end of a series, or do you have that with a movie and novel too, or just
not as much?
Not
just
as
because
much?
the series are so long.
Yeah, you get attached to like maybe on a deeper level.
Exactly, because especially nowadays, Netflix keeps releasing them kind of at the same time, sometimes as the episodes in Korea. So you get one episode every week, 1 or 2 episodes a week. So this lasts for 2 months. And at the end of the 2 months, it's over. And what do? You go listen to the soundtrack.
And remember the good time you had with them.
And it's not just instrumental. They'll have instrumentals, but usually when I say that they add a new song, it's a new song by a Korean pop star, usually.
That's cool, but it's probably like pretty expensive to produce.
Probably. But I mean,
because
you've watched a couple of these series. You can tell that they have a lot of budget.
yeah, it's really a lot. Like I said, I listened to Kingdom, and like it's beautiful.
Hmm.
It remind me of the first time we listened to Lord of the Rings, when you discover the nature around.
Right, right,
It's the
right.
same thing. The
Yeah.
kingdom, it's in probably somewhere in the mountain in Korea, and
Yeah.
there's beautiful shot of all the land around, and that's really
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yeah. So, but you should definitely check out those Korean dramas. When you're going
I
to be
will.
editing the video, you can list these out. And I also finally finished. So when I was saying that I watched a lot of dramas in 2016, there was one that Jack started, but then we kind of stopped because it was just we couldn't find it on Netflix. It wasn't on any of the streaming platforms, so we always had to go find the episodes. So we never finished it. It was Goblin.
Okay.
And so that one is also one that was very, very popular in 2016. It's very good. I love it. I think some of these shows, when I love it so much, I want to rewatch it. And that's one of the ones that I want to rewatch.
Oh, cool.
And
So
I know the songs from this soundtrack by heart because those songs I've been listening to since 2016.
so that's great. When you're listening to Sparkling Harmonies, you got music, movies, and series. It's a whole
Yeah.
package. We
Yeah,
are there
yeah.
for you.
Yeah, we're here for your holiday season because
Yes,
we're
especially
not,
this year.
yeah, there's not much you could do. So binge watch all of these. A lot of these are still on Netflix. It's a lot of these I watched at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, but I think it's a trend right now because they can produce new shows, so they try to get shows that never went on Netflix or other platform or in
Yeah.
other country and translate or at least add sub.
But
So
a lot of the series that I mentioned, like I think half of the series that I mentioned at the beginning were done this year. They were aired like a day or two before getting put on Netflix.
oh, that
Yeah.
close?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, there's a lot of budget behind that.
Yeah.
Ah, that's cool. So I've learned something new. So for my number
Hmm.
nine, it's a band called Abrams. I'm not sure. Modern Ways. Uh, to me, that was a funny discovery in the sense of I'm not really into rock, and when I say rock, it's like proper rock.
Hmm.
Uh,
A
I prefer
classic.
that stuff like maybe a bit more edgy, like the punk
Hmm.
and metal, but I always jump the rock part. I don't know, but this band just mix other genres together like really well. And to my own surprise, I came back a lot to that album. Like when I was working and I need just to focus on something,
Hmm.
and the thing just flow like really easy. Is I don't know if it's a trend, but in heavier music, it's always long songs,
Yeah.
but longer song. I would say
Hmm.
longer, and those were not too long, not too short. That was just perfect, and that was a nice change of pace. So I was just diving into it like on a day to day and without noticing it. And when I look back at my stats, I was like, oh, I listened to the album a
A
lot.
lot.
Like I just like surprised myself that I went that much on that album. And
Hmm.
the thing I like, and it's probably like how we have that discussion about naming a genres or
Yeah.
identify a band where it's supposed to go on the whole map of
On the
genres.
spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah, it's art, especially this time around. People try to mix match different genre.
Mm,
Like I think boundaries are less and less and less predominant in music.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
this band have a rock core if you want, and they just spice up a little bit of stuff now and then. It's well balanced, and like the moment when you, I don't know, for example, they have like element of sludge and punk, and when they bring it in, it just like at the right moment, it's feel great. It's I don't know, it have an impact probably more prominent than just do a punk song from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
They just bring like, oh, let's do a chorus in a punk fashion. So when you get into it, like you notice it and you enjoy it. So that was like a cool surprise, and like I said, a nice change of pace. So
Mm-hmm. That's
and they
cool.
have some funny visual. If you want to look, I'm pretty sure those guys really enjoy all the visual of the 70s psychedelic stuff.
Oh, okay.
So they
That's
put like
interesting.
that just funny. Like for example, you have an album cover. It's like a ladies in the middle of nature, but you see you can identify all the picture they stick together, even if it's supposed to be like a picture, but it's
Mm-hmm.
many pictures.
So it's a mosaic.
Yeah, but like in the 70s, they tried to do the Photoshop thing before its
Right.
time. So
Right.
that's
I see.
funny. They really dive into that genres of visual.
That's
So
cool.
that was my number 9.
And I think I think we're up to my number 7 now.
Oh, already.
Yeah, because like I said, I only had 9 to start. So my number 7 this year goes to One OK Rock. Because I got into a phase of listening to their music again when I decided last minute to buy a ticket to their live stream concert, which was fantastic. And so what I realized was before I had only listened to maybe their 2 latest releases. So Eye of the Storm and Ambitions.
Okay.
So the concert, they've been making music since I think 2005. So these 2 albums were from the past 5 years or something like that.
Okay.
And so I got a little bit further back and kind of dug deeper into which was it? 35, Jinsei, Kaketa Bukua, and Zankyo Reference. So those are 3 other albums that I think span all the way to 2011.
Okay.
And because they played some songs of those albums a lot on the live stream. And since it was a live stream, I was able to rewatch it a couple of times before it was over.
Okay.
So, it's different when you're going to a concert. You're there, but you won't necessarily remember all the songs that were played.
Yeah,
If you
but
know what I mean?
you just remember like the more impactful. So
Exactly. Or the
it's
songs that
probably like 30% of the show.
and the songs that you actually know, right?
Yes.
And I saw them when they were on their Eye of the Storm tour. So of course I knew that album. So this got me into a little bit more into their older stuff.
Ah,
Which was
that's
fun.
cool. So how long the show was available after the releasing date?
3 days, I think.
Oh, okay. That's cool. At least because if I remember correctly, that was the most expensive one you bought.
Yes. Yes.
So
It
at
was like
least you
60.
can enjoy it, even if you, for example, you're not there the day it went
Yeah.
live. You can actually listen to it after. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that was fun.
so my number 8.
Mm-hmm.
This band is one of my favorite Australian band,
Mm-hmm.
Violent Soho. Um, like I said in my in our first episode of Know Your Host, I'm a grunge kid. I learned music. I learned to play music, and I discovered music via Nirvana, Silverchair. Um, that hit something in me when I heard like grunge music. Sorry, and Violent Soul, I think, carried the torch in the second half. But we are in 2020 now, so it's
Mm-hmm.
what 20 years after the grunge era, and I really like this band. A little bit like I know it's funny to say, but a little bit like Blackpink. The guys look like the cool dude you want to be friend with.
Oh, okay. I see that.
They're really funny when they go to, because I don't know, it's a Australian thing, but there's a lot of radio station who put live shows, or at least they invite a band and they film it. And there's a series they ask local band to cover a song of another local band.
Oh, wow.
So the next one coming and cover another, and they play like their new songs and stuff like that. But there's always a cover on another band, and
Wow.
with them, I discovered so much about all the
Australian
grunge
scene.
scene. Yeah, I have a pretty long list like Tired Lion, Dune Rats, DG Dead Rays, Okay Dad, and I really enjoyed this band. And this year they got a new album, and that was funny because they always want to make fun of trends.
Okay.
So they always make like a videos like I don't know a rapper or a video like a pop star and stuff like that. And for the release of this album, they make fun of a meme.
Oh.
I don't know if you already saw that. It's a meme. I think it. I don't. Okay, I don't want to judge a religion, but I think it's Mormon when they knock on your doors and let
Mm-hmm.
let us talk about our Lord Savior or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And but there's a meme that always change that to another genre
Another
of
topic
music
or
or
yeah.
topic. And so they dressed up in a suit, but for an image, they are surf dude. So
Oh,
that gives
okay.
you an idea of how they look. So they have short, but a really nice tie, a really nice shirts and everything. They knock on people's doors and said, "Do you want to heard about our music?" And they get into random outlaw. It's probably their friend or whatever, but that's just
Yeah.
funny to see them like sit on a couch with people, start the album, and listen to it with people. There's some
Mm-hmm.
people that clearly
Are
didn't
not
like that,
into it.
but there's like one guy, he's like, "Oh, okay, sit." And after like the first chorus, he's like, "That's really great. I like that." And you sing with them. That's just funny. But I really enjoy that album. It's really catchy. Um, it's more on the pop side of grunge.
Okay.
It's not like Mudvayne or Mudhoney that's really like noisy or stuff. It's not like that. It's more on the like Nirvana side. Like it's really catchy. You know, you listen to the song once and you know all
The chorus.
the chorus and stuff. And I really enjoy it. Like I said, they opened me a door to a new scene,
Mm-hmm.
and especially this year, there were some of those bands that were supposed to be in Montreal for
Oh,
the Puzza Fest, and everything was canceled. I was really sad, but
yeah.
maybe next year.
Next year. Next year. And so for me now, we are heading into my number 6.
Oh shit!
Yep, 6. I'm a little forward. Which is All Time Low,
Yes,
because All Time Low released an album during the spring, and
a great one, I
yeah,
must
but it
say.
is, it is, and honestly, I haven't followed their last 2 albums. Like, I probably can't name you a song off Last Young Renegades. Maybe I know a couple of songs off Future Hearts, but otherwise, like I just listen to the old All Time Low.
Okay.
So this, I decided to check it out. I don't know why. I just decided to check it out, and I really enjoyed it. This was on repeat for a while.
And I had to add, this album release was perfect with the beginning of summer.
Yeah.
Great temperature, sun outside.
Yeah.
I think that maybe it's just luck, but that was perfect timing.
Yeah. And what makes me sad is I was supposed to see them last summer because
Um,
they were going to go on the Sad Summer Fest with the Maine. But the Maine announced that they were postponing it to next year, and that they had signed all of the original artists, so they're going to be on the same tour next year.
okay, but at
Yeah,
least
yeah,
you have a second chance to see them.
yeah, yeah.
But that was a great
So
album.
it
I listened
was.
to that album too because I think it's because of you again. Because you're in a pop punk scene that I don't know a lot. I'm
Mm-hmm.
more into the older stuff like skate punk, like Blink
Yeah.
182, NoFX, and stuff like that. But I don't know, like Neck Deep, 4 Year
Mm-hmm.
Strong, and all those bands. I don't know them as much.
Yeah.
But seriously, the new All Time Low album is really good. I
Yeah.
really enjoy it too.
Have you ever listened to their older stuff, or was this the first time that you really listened
First
to
time,
them?
I know
Really?
I know the band, I know the name. I saw them
Mm-hmm.
probably heard a couple of songs, but that was the
But you
first
won't
for
be
me.
able to pinpoint them. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, so I listened to them a lot when that album came out. That was what I was listening, because when you were right, when it came out, it was starting to be warm outside, so I was in the yard, because back then I wasn't working yet. Because when quarantine hit and we were closed, unlike you who was working from home, I was just out of work.
Yeah, you can't work from home.
Nope, you can't do eye exams from home. So, well, you can actually. I helped out a few people with by telemedicine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's like for the less severe case.
Yeah. So it's I have a bump on my eyelid,
Okay.
and they send me a picture. I can prescribe something
A
and be
blurry picture, not
yeah. Oh
focus on
yeah.
their phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
So I
it
did.
the
I didn't.
eye?
I didn't do it a lot. I didn't do it a lot. But so for when Wake Up Sunshine came out, I was in the yard reading, blasting that music, and it was pretty great.
Yeah, that was a great timing and a great album.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's your number 7? 7?
Number 7 is not a band. Number 7 is not an album. Number 7 is a person. It's Travis Barker from
That we've
Blink
talked about a
182.
lot.
Yes. Okay, I'm already a big fan of Blink 182, but this guy find a way to stay relevant. He's not an old guy, but he's part of an older generation of punk. But he find a way to have collaboration with younger musician, with musician from totally other genres than him.
Yeah.
He start his own labels where he signed like new artists or like the following him, if I must say, opened my mind to another world. Well, for example, I'll speak a lot about Machine Gun Kelly because he's doing the drum on almost all the album. Jaden, JXDN.
Oh,
Yeah, this guy, Lil Peep, Ghostman, Run the G Well. Like, yes, I discovered music that I enjoyed, but on the other hand, I was really impressed to see him like building something different. Because if I remember correctly, back in beginning of 2000, him and Tom from Blink 182 had like streetwear shoes and shirts. It's kind of blurry which one had what, but that was cool. That was something different to like stay relevant and in the public eye. But getting into other genres will probably on the long term help him to stay on the front stage for a long time.
absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
he's always there when there's something new, when there's something cool. I talk about the what is his name, Post Malone when he did Nirvana live,
Nirvana.
and he was there. He was the drummer, but at the first, when you see them, well, okay, they have tattoos, and they are musician, but otherwise, it's not a mix you think gonna happen. But
Yeah.
they were together, and if I'm not mistaken, he played a lot with him on his last album too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so in a time where people complain, okay, I play guitar, so I'm into the guitar community online, and it's mostly older people because young people don't go on forums; they go on Reddit, on Instagram, and stuff. But the older guys think that guitar music is dead, and all the young people don't have theories and they play with computer is not music anymore. I think it's false, but to each their own. And this guy just broke that because he opened the door to like, look, all those kids. And that's funny because if you listen to them, for example, like Ghostman that I talked in the previous episode, this guy seriously know his stuff.
Really?
He's really like, sometimes he sample like obscure black metal band from the 90s that nobody heard about. But if he take the time to sample them, I'm pretty sure because he knows them.
He knows, yeah. Because it's not one of the bands that you can sample if you just stumble upon.
No, not normally not, because you don't take the time to listen to the whole song. And so Travis Barker opened that door. I discovered many music. I discovered a part of me that's like rap. I know I'm not a rap head per se, but I discovered something I was never into before. But maybe because all the mainstream stuff is about like gangster rap and like
Yeah.
car, girls, and money, that I'm
Funny.
not
Yeah.
into it. But I discovered something different. And seriously, I really looking to what he's gonna do with his new label and all the probably new collaboration he will do. I'm really
No.
curious. Oh,
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. And it's funny because he stayed active that way
yes.
and versus Mark. Mark started to stream video games.
But that's funny because at the beginning, Travis is not the spokesperson. He's not in front normally. Like when they do interview.
But he did have a TV reality show.
Yes, totally. But on the other hand, that was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Like seriously, if Tom did a reality show, everyone was like, "It's Tom. He will do
Yeah.
everything to stay in front of the camera."
True.
But Travis is all in the back. During the interview, he don't speak. Especially this year, I learned that he's afraid of planes.
Yeah,
He
well,
never take planes.
because he got into an accident.
Yeah,
No?
but he was really anxious before that,
Oh.
and he said, "Okay, for my job, I have to take planes." And I saw an interview of him like speaking about the experience and what like destroy him is his little daughter told him not to go, and he went and he got a crash and everything. So now, if they go on a tour, you have to do it by boat.
Oh.
So that's really different. So that's why there's no tour in North America, Australia, and Europe in the same year. When they do like Europe, I think it's 2 months in boat.
Oh my God.
So you have to go and do a whole tour there because there's at least 2 months go, 2 months back for him.
Oh my
so
gosh. Oh, I did not know that.
But no, he's interesting. It's a fascinating persona to follow.
Wow. And this brings us into already my top 5.
Do you want me to do my number 6 and we will do the head?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe you should do your number 6 so that we hit 5 at the same time.
Number 6. And it's featuring my Christmas sweater.
And my reindeer ears.
Yeah, we see more your reindeer ears than my shirt. So my number 6 is Silosis. It's the band
that you mentioned.
I mentioned in the introduction. It's the band of Josh Middleton. And this guy is a riff master. Every song has a really good riff that burn into your brains. And that album is probably one of the best deadcore album of the year. It's really straightforward. When you present the band to new people, you always do the same thing because actually in metal, the trend is down tune like way lower than normally and do like the genty stuff, like really syncopated. He said, there's no gimmick. We don't down tune. We don't do the breakdown thing. We just play straight into your face for a whole album. And seriously, this is the album. You want it, you got it. There's no frill, no shrill. It's straight to the point.
Sometimes that's better because then when you hear them live, you're not disappointed because there's not that much production.
Yes.
And it doesn't just sound completely different.
Yes. So seriously, if you have a small interest in heavier music, this guy is awesome. And he's a really good guitar player, like a really, really good technical guy. And he sings.
Wow.
And he's a good singer.
Wow.
So it's like 2 good things in the same package. It's really impressive to see. So seriously, it's a really good album. Give it a listen.
I should do that. Maybe that'll get me a little bit a foot into the heavier world.
Maybe.
So now we're hitting my top 5.
Top 5.
So my number 5 is State Champs. Yes. Once again, this is a band, it's not surprising. I talked about them a few times, but they've done a few live streams. So other bands have done, where they've rented a venue and then they did a show. State Champs did a different route. They did mostly streams where they recorded a couple of songs or like 5-6 songs, and they would stream on Twitch while chatting. So
Okay.
just this week they had their Frozen Fest, which is usually their holiday show.
Okay.
So they had recorded a few of their acoustic songs, a couple of Christmas covers, or one. I'm not sure if it was one or two anymore. Christmas cover, and they were chatting on Twitch, doing giveaways, reading Christmas cards that people sent into their
that's
PO
cool.
box, and raising money for a food bank.
Oh.
So they were taking donations for that, and every maybe 10, 15 minutes they would put in a song that they recorded.
Oh, that's cool. That's
But
pretty
otherwise,
interactive.
yeah. But otherwise, they were chatting. They were taking shots. They were.
But that's cool.
So, yeah.
It's probably feel like you hanging out with them. So
Exactly. And for those who don't know, they are on Twitch every Wednesday, or about every Wednesday now, doing whatever, playing games and stuff. And so because they stayed so active throughout this whole time, I also kept listening to their music, because at the beginning they did a 10-year anniversary show.
yes,
And then they did.
We talked a bit about this.
Yeah. So that went and made me listen a little bit more into also their older stuff. Yeah.
Oh, but that's cool, because at the beginning Twitch was pretty exclusive to gaming.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the
goal of it.
The goal
probably.
of it.
Yeah.
And more musicians, but yeah, there's other stuff. There's painters, then there's people who cut,
knit.
There's many stuff, but musicians were like maybe late to the party, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more and more band that get into that, and that's cool, because that's another way to speak with your audience,
with your fans.
and
Exactly.
fans.
And I mean, the guys from State Champs, they are just big gamers, I think. So for them, it was just the natural progression of things.
Yes.
Since we're home anyways, we're gonna game.
Yeah,
and we're gonna.
That's the best time to do it right now.
Yeah.
So enjoy the gaming.
Yeah. And so that was fun. So once again, this is all. I also kept up to date, I guess, with them, because they stayed active throughout the pandemic.
So that's worth it. Speak with your audience.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And what's your number 5?
Number 5. I will have to speak in Swedish right now. Förlusterars. I guess. It's a black metal band from Sweden. I don't have an album for them, because this year they released 2 albums.
Okay.
They had one album, like a normal album, if you may, called Bloem, Bloem, Bloem. And a couple of weeks ago, they released another album called Relax. That's a pronunciation gymnastics.
This episode is worth it to watch, just to see François' facial expressions while trying to pronounce these things.
Spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure Lily will cut them and use them.
Or you can just check out our Instagram. These are going to go onto our Instagram, yeah.
And that was like a gift to the fans. It's like a compilation of all the demos and unreleased stuff they did since the beginning.
Right.
So I really enjoy both of them. And why I choose the band and not the album, it's because they bring me back to like the second wave of black metal. That's maybe a bit more melodic and less aggressive, because the first wave of black metal was really into like that was in opposition with death metal back in the days. That was considered like too much produced, too much polish. So the black metal movement bring like the lo-fi, like really harsh production, really like noisy, a lot of reverbs. And the second wave was still that, but easier to get into. So this band is inspired by this sound that is, yes, it's cold. Like when you listen to that, you feel like you're in like a really cold storm in the middle of Sweden or all the Nordic countries. But I really enjoy it, and it's bring me back to the like when I used to listen a lot to black metal. For those who don't know, black metal is a world when you can discover a band that you really love. You make a research and you discover they are like Nazi or National
Oh,
Socialist,
I see.
like So it's always like a field of mine,
Okay. A minefield,
a
yes.
minefield. You never know in
Where you're
what you
gonna
get
stumble.
into.
Yeah.
So it's finger crossed. There's nothing about them. They're pretty vocal against it. So let's keep it that
Okay.
way.
Okay.
So that's why I move forward because I really like the music. I'm not behind those politic and hate
Right.
speech stuff,
Right.
but I stepped back. I didn't want to get into that, but this band is really, for example, all the lyrics and theme in the album, it's about nature.
Okay.
Like
That's
I
interesting.
will show you the picture of all the cover of the album, and it's like beautiful pictures of uh, flowers,
Mm-hmm.
trees, birds. It's really like it's about nature, and
Okay.
so it's maybe a bit more safe.
I
but
see.
but this band bring me back to those memories, to that music I used to enjoy a lot. So I really like that, and that's another way to listen to metal. It's more like atmospheric, but
Mm-hmm.
really good. It's
Oh,
not for everyone, so I'm pretty
no.
sure you won't jump into that.
No, I'll jump into the other one.
Yes, Silosis is good. It's another thing. So,
And my number
getting closer.
4.
Number 4.
So the main, they're
What a
pretty,
surprise.
but they're low on my list. Which it's funny because I feel like I'm cheating on them.
Lily,
Um,
come on.
so they're also one of the bands that I kept gravitating towards because they were so active, so active. So, I think we've talked about this. They at the beginning of the pandemic, they posted the recording of the 8123 Fest, which is their festival when they did in 2019, which they played their first full album on like from start to finish.
Okay.
So because of that show, I listened to that album a lot before and after. And
And
then
still.
And then at the end of the summer, they did the Fair Flowers on the Grave, which was a farewell show to their latest album, You Are Okay. So I listened to a lot to that album before and after. And then they did a Forever Halloween show, which they played their Forever Halloween songs, which is another album. And then recently they just did their holiday show, which made me really happy because I've always wanted to see them play their holiday songs live. But I guess it was live, but on the screen, still not the same. But still, they were really funny. They were all dressed up. They had put wrapping paper onto the walls and stuff, and they looked like they were jumping out of a present box. It was really cool. So they had to make my list. They've been, I'd say probably I've listened to them this year the least, probably out of all the past years. Because like I said, 2 other bands took over.
Yes.
Because for the first time ever, they were dethroned from my top spot on my Spotify Wrapped.
They're probably crying right now.
Sorry, the main. I still love you. But yeah, so they just, whenever I listen to their music, I just get back right into it all over again. And they're just, I think they're one of those bands that I'll just never lose touch with ever, even though I'll listen to them less every once in a while.
Yeah, but they are still there.
They're still there always.
They are a
Always there.
staple. They are a staple for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my number 4. What was
Yay.
your number 4?
My number 4 is Jeff Rosenstock. Again, not an album, but a guy who bring me to his own music and other stuff. Maybe you know that guy from Bomb the Music Industry, Ben? That was a collective of literally musicians that want to pump the music industry.
Okay.
They were doing like they were produce their own shows, their own tour and stuff like that. And that was kind of weird music. They didn't want to be like in a box of this is punk and you're not supposed to do anything else.
Yeah.
So he went on solo for from some time now, but he had a new album this year called No Dream, and this is probably one of the best pop punk DIY punk album for me of the year.
Really?
I
Okay,
really
so this I'll
enjoy
have
it.
to look into.
The guy is terrific live. You feel that he give everything when he plays and sing. He have some great collaboration. That's why I jumped into other band with him. He have the singer of Pop that sing with him. Like I I love all the pop punk stuff, but with him I just dive into it, enjoy it. It's make me miss a lot of the sing along we can do in show because all his song have some great sing along part in it.
Oh,
So, but
soon, one day they'll be
yeah,
back. One day.
and like many other bands, he tried to keep active during those time, and he had another album called Dump that he dumped a couple of weeks back. He did, how can I say that? An online production recording things. Like he record a new song, he speak about the process and everything.
Oh,
And
okay.
after a couple of weeks, he had like one, two, three, four, whatever number of songs. And he do a mini album that he dump on Bandcamp.
Oh, okay.
And what the great thing about Bandcamp right now, since May, they do the Friday, free Friday, one Friday a month since May. If you buy an album on Bandcamp, they don't take any fees. All the money go to the band,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and they give like I don't know, almost $1 million since the beginning
Oh, wow. That's a
doing
great
that.
initiative.
Yeah, so he's one of the artists who promote and take advantage of that thing when they announce which Friday it's gonna be. He prepare a song for especially that Friday, put it on for people to buy it this day, so people feel like helping him, and I guess he need it, so he take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But seriously, that's a really good album. It's it's not just about like normally you have in pop punk DIY. It's really like simplistic, but
Okay.
this one is more about introspection. He talk about how he feel right now, how his life going right now, with his parents, with his girlfriend, with his friend. It's really like a personal album. So
Okay.
seriously, it's a really really good album.
I'll have to check that out.
How you say roulement de tambour?
Drum roll.
Drum roll.
So my
Number
number three. So this kind of ties into one of my other ones, one of my top two, but it's I mentioned him today also as one of the songs that I've been listening to. So it's Ige, which is Jay from Day Six, his
Wait.
solo project,
Yes.
which is completely different from Day Six. So once again, I'm not very good at figuring out how to categorize, but even he says himself that he's not, like, he's still trying to discover his own sound. So he doesn't know what sound he is yet. But like I said, it's probably somewhere the more chill pop. That's all the songs are very short, except his collaborations. But like his solo songs are like a minute 30.
Ah, that's another way to do it. You don't have to like stretch forever or something.
No, but for us, like you just get like the end of the chorus and then it's done. Yeah.
But it's another way to do it.
Yeah, but it's because it's just him testing things out. So since Day Six have been on hiatus since I discovered them. Yeah, I'll talk about this more later. I got into his solo stuff because he was still posting his solo stuff. So the song that really got me into him was Pac-Man, because there are very powerful vocals on there.
Okay.
So you should definitely check that out. It's a very good song. Like I said, it's just 1:30.
Is
So
it the song you sent me? That the videos look like Radiohead Karma Police? Is it this one?
no,
No?
wait, no. That was another one, I think. I think that was another one. Because Pac-Man, he's just walking around in a cave.
Okay.
So I think the one that I sent you was LA Trains,
Okay.
I think.
Maybe.
So this is just very, it's just him having fun, trying to figure out. He also did a collaboration with Rich Brian, who's, oh man, I forgot where he's from. But he's an Asian pop star who sings in English, but he's very popular now. And he did a collaboration with him, and Rich Brian's song was called Love in My Pocket. And so Rich Brian originally posted the song with a green screen and then asked fans to put whatever they wanted in the back.
In the
So
screen.
this is hilarious. Nice. It's really funny. And then Jay Eage, when they added his part in, his part was all with the green screen, but they had already added Rich Brian's parts with the fan edits. But in Jay's part, there's parts where he's just kind of flying around. So the fans they're pretty impressive, and I'll send you one because they edited him into one of the Blackpink songs. I don't know which one, but I think it's like it's a song where they say like flying or something, and then you see him flying in. So Pac-Man is a song I really like, and then there's also Pillows, which is his newest song with Keshi, who's an American artist. And because like I said, Pillows, just the lyrics are very powerful, versus Pac-Man is the vocals that are very powerful. But I really like all of these songs, and like I said, they're so short that I think in 20 minutes you've listened to all of the songs. He's released probably about 8 songs by now, not on Spotify sadly. So on YouTube and SoundCloud is where you can find his stuff. Yeesh Music.
That's great. You have a punk side, like short song, really straight to the point. It's like old school punk.
I guess so, but not punk sounding at all.
No, it's all about the mentality.
The mindset.
The
Yeah,
mindset.
That's true. And so let's get into your number 3.
So my number 3 is Tricot. It's the Japanese math rock band. They had 2 releases this year. The first one is Maruko. Again, something I have to pronounce that I don't know. That's, I would say, a normal release. And they had another album called 10 to celebrate their 10th anniversary. And it's a new song, but they try to do something different. They have like more pop song, simpler song. They try to go outside of their comfort zone, and or maybe put out stuff that normally doesn't fit in their regular in their regular release. So that's really melodic. That's really it's really different because they mix a lot the time signature. So it's not like a pop song, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You have like really weird time signature, and that bring another way to do melodies. So it's really fun. It's really like it's not aggressive at all. So don't worry.
I think you've sent me some of their videos.
Yeah. And I think it's Marie Claude from one of our interviews. Marie Claire, who said she enjoyed it too, and I'm pretty sure it's her brother-in-law or whatever. I know she mentioned it too, and it's really like something different. And I can speak Japanese, and I don't know a lot about the Japanese culture, but when they sing, they don't do it the same way. I don't know how to put words around, but the singing melody are not this what we are used to. I would say it like that. So you have the weird time signature, and on top of that, you have like another way to bring lyrics and vocals into it. So that gave a really good mix, and it really, really outside of what I'm normally listening
Listening.
to. So that's really cool. And since I had two albums to listen of them, so I had a lot of stuff to digest and listen to for the
Yeah.
whole year. So that was really cool. It's a really great album and a great band.
And we're getting into the top two now. Woo. So number two for me. So this is very, very last minute. They've been changing in my mind since we started. It's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But I think this year number two goes to BTS. Which is hilarious.
Finally, Lily is one of them.
Oh my gosh. Which is really funny because I think in our first Confront series episodes that we've recorded, these were recorded in October, November. So when you're gonna hear my Confront episodes, I'm still denying it because I haven't gone really into them yet. But a month ago, their song "Life Goes On" came out, and along with the album B, and that was the tipping point. And so during the spring, I listened to Map of the Soul 7, which was their album that came out in February this year. I enjoyed it. I was like, okay, this is good, but it didn't push me really to listen to it that much. Like I wasn't putting it on repeat, and I wasn't really getting into older songs either. And then I think All Time Low's album came out, so I was like, okay, well, we're moving on. But B has been on repeat since November 20th. So much that I actually looked this up. So there's this website, Stats for Spotify, that I look at every once in a while, and one of their songs made it into, where was it? So BTS are my second most listened artist of the last 6 months.
Even if you just discovered them,
Even if I just
unquote.
started listening to them a month ago, that's how much I've been listening to this album. But also Blue and Gray, which is I think my favorite song off the album. So I like Blue and Gray, which is this really emo song, of course. It's an emo ballad. So one of the lyrics is I just want to be happier. Okay, so that's made it into my top 15 songs of
okay, so
all time.
All time.
But
did you ever listen to other stuff since the last month?
A little bit of my Christmas playlist. But yeah.
Wait. I think I hear the main crying right now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I was looking for the other one. Oh yeah, but anyways, so to really create your timeline, I listened to Map of the Soul in the spring. Didn't really get into it as much. And then Dynamite came out this summer.
Yes, the nonsense English song.
Exactly, which I didn't get into as much either. Like now I'll listen to it and I find it catchy, but I still find it not meaningful, which is sad. But it's sad because every other song of theirs is mostly very meaningful. Like Life Goes On is a song about COVID and how, life goes on. And Blue and Gray is about feeling these emotions, and even though you're supposed to be happy because you got all the success, you're still wondering.
That doesn't mean you're happy.
Exactly. So the album B for me is really the album that made it. I haven't started really to get into their older stuff yet, but I started now binge watching their variety show Run BTS every night. Okay. That's all I listen to. Jack is always like, why are you laughing so much? Because I'm just howling of laughter in the living room. But this kind of ties back into what you said about the girls in Blackpink, their personalities drawing you in.
Yes.
This is the same thing, because they seem like they get along so well on the show, and they look like they care for each other and everything. So that also, I feel like that gets you attached to them.
Yeah, that grab you.
Yeah.
So no,
And yeah.
that's
So now
interesting.
I've started watching some of their old performances, which are very, very impressive. They were on an Asian award show recently, and the performance was mind blowing. It was so good. And so now I'm just watching all of these. I watched their, grad 2020 speech and dance and stuff. And I've just, the one sad thing about getting into a band late is you've missed some opportunities to see them and stuff. But
Did they ever come in Canada?
they've been to Toronto.
Okay.
But the good thing is there's so much backlog of stuff.
Yeah, you can just dig in, dig, and found new stuff. And
Yeah.
for those who don't know, Lily have a little fiber inside her that make her a collector.
Yeah, but I haven't collected BTS yet.
Yet.
I am.
But BTS, I look around a bit on my side, and they have like
so
a
much stuff.
boatload.
No, I can't get into that. Even B, my friend bought it for me.
Yeah, but it's like a poison gift.
We'll see.
Now you're just going down into the BTS rabbit hole.
We'll see. but so anyway, so far I love Life Goes On, Blue and Gray, Stay, which is all from the new album B. I also like Spring Day, which is an older song, Microcosmos, I think, Black Swan. And it's just funny because now that I like them, I realize when their songs come up on the radio, because they have collaborations with people.
Okay.
And so, they got Boy With Love that comes on sometimes on the radio, and then they have Dynamite, they have other songs. So I forgot the feeling of being somewhere and hearing a song of somebody that you like pop on, because that doesn't happen with the other bands that I listen to.
But I don't know if it's because we talk a bit about that because America is really great at exporting music and movies and all their culture stuff. There's a politics stand behind that, but otherwise. But it's really hard for a band from outside USA to get into their reality.
The mainstream.
Yeah. And that's probably why we never heard about them, because we are pretty well influenced by USA. But on the other hand, that's sad because we missed a lot. But on the other hand, that's funny because BTS is still one of the most popular band in USA right now, even if they are not playing it on any radio or TV shows.
Yeah.
Because kids listen to it on the internet. But I don't know, probably BTS did the same turn around or whatever. What I saw with Blackpink, they tried to do like collaboration with bigger band and like Lady Gaga and I don't know which one is the other one, but just to get into like the world.
That's what BTS has done these past few years as well, which is what I've noticed. But I mean, for me, I've had friends who've been into them, so I've always been kind of exposed to them. But it wasn't my style of music. It just wasn't what I wanted to listen to back then.
Okay.
And for me, I think I just needed to get into one of their albums. And then, you know how when you like something, it's like you just start liking all of it. So songs that I would
understand it, so now you can go back and
because some songs that I would listen to before, and I would be like, not really my style. Now I'm like, oh yeah, it was good.
But that's cool. But I looking forward to that because K-pop, K-rock, K-music, it's really, really big in Asia and India and in fact everywhere, probably outside Europe and North America.
No, even there it's pretty big.
It's big not on the mainstream road.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious to see what it's going to bring, because those big bands open the gates, open the path, but there's other smaller band we don't know yet about.
Yeah.
That will probably take the advantage to come here.
I mean, I don't think so, because this is going to be a topic for another day because it's just so vast. But the K-pop world is very tiered.
Oh yeah, okay.
So no, it's like you can know which bands are going to come over. already. That they're already here, basically.
Yeah,
It's
but
just 'cause-
maybe not. Maybe the band won't come here, but people who get will notice all the key music and probably will do their own research to find new band. Maybe I
maybe.
wish. I wish.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm optimistic, but that can be cool. It's open a new world because
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know a lot about those music.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with my love with all the Bollywood movies. I listened some big one, and now I'm digging in like new stuff. But another thing.
Yeah. So what's your number two?
Number two. My number two is a tie because I wasn't able to choose between the two, and I would like to bring a bit more of a local band. Uh, that was two albums that went out this year
Mm-hmm.
from two band I really like, and from two band I was supposed to see live too.
Oh,
That's No Bro with Sick Hustle and Thick Glasses with Courir après sa queue. So I guess it's chasing your
running after,
hotel.
yeah, chasing your hotel. Yeah.
So those two albums, those two are EPs or mini album. If you, um, they're really great band. They try to do like their own stuff. For example, No Bro, fun story. It's the band come from the leader of the band. Every time a guy want to join in when they were looking for a drummer, bassist, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
she said, "Sorry, no bro."
Oh,
And I don't know. I don't know if which girl it is, but she want to have a whole female band only to enjoy, have fun, and do their own stuff.
mm-hmm.
So the band came No Bro. And for Thick
So
Glasses,
funny.
it's Thick Glasses is funny because it's a like little project from a guy. He went into open door from a record company here in Montreal called
Mm-hmm.
Brick L for Breakfast, and he went to the manager and asked him, "What should I do if I want to get my home band record and get into the scene?" So he gave him some tricks, tips. The little kid went on his way, start his band, do two small album, I think. Fast forward a couple of years, he got a job at this label. And
Really?
when he talked to his new boss about what's happened, like I think it's like 5 or 6 years before, he said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh yeah, I remember you. That was the open door ceremony, blah blah blah." And said, what's up with your band?" Oh, I said, "Oh, we recorded a little album. Put it on. I want to hear it." And he said, "Hey, that's really great. I want to sing your band." And he was like, "What?"
Wow.
He said, "No, like as a band, I want to sing it and
Sign.
sign it. Sorry, sign it and do our normal stuff." Yeah, but he said, "I don't want to profit. Like I don't want to be like the guy who bring his band because I'm in. No, I don't care. I just want to sign it and enjoy." And like that's probably like a dream come true for him.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
the album is really great. There's like 5 songs, I think. I listened to it like a lot, a lot. And sadly, this summer they had a show during the little period we were
Mm-hmm.
able to go, and they did an outside show. I wasn't able to go, but they film it, and that's really cool. The guy just enjoyed their stuff, and that's funny because all their pictures they have glasses because they are glass person. I don't know how to say that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's hence the name. And that's just a really good album. So if you like punk and you want to like cheers for your hometown, there's
Mm-hmm.
two small band that you should look or at least just have a little listen.
Okay. So this brings us into my number one, which, I mean, is it even a surprise? It's day 6.
No.
So day 6 I mean, I've talked about them quite a lot already. So you kind of know my story about them already. But it's just funny because if you had told me a year ago that I would discover this band, I would get so into them that I would buy all of their albums. So within, within 3 months of getting into them, I had scoured the internet and found all of their albums because some of them are out of print, some of them were hard to get. So I got all of their Korean releases, which were 3 full albums and 6 EPs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And stuffed animals I also bought. So now
Yeah,
I'm only
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
only I'm only missing their Japanese releases, which I'm not sure of getting or not. But I
You
got
said
2
not
DVDs.
sure.
Not sure. But I got also 2 DVDs. And so like I said before, they've been on my list of most listened to for the past 6, 7, 8 months now. Until last month when BTS came out with B and they took over a little bit for a while. But Zombie, which is a song that got me into them, I guess this is where the emo kid in me comes out all the time. Is Zombie is a song that's has pretty dark lyrics. It's about feeling empty inside, waking up and living life kind of aimlessly, which I feel like resonated with a lot of people because the song came out in May.
Yes, yeah,
So
yeah.
first wave of COVID everywhere. And so I mentioned earlier that the band was on hiatus. So the day their new album came out in May, the band announced that they were going to be on break because 2 of the guys had mental health issues that they needed to take a break.
Okay.
And they're still on break. So there's 3 of the 3 other guys created a subunit, which is very popular in Korean bands. They create a subunit and they release music as a trio. And Jay did his own thing a little bit on the side because Jay was one of the people who was on hiatus, who was on break.
And he's pretty vocal about like
mental health stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zombie, like I said, is a song that got me into them, and it made my top 10 songs of all time that I've listened to the most.
And fun fact, if you listen closely to our intro jingle and outro jingle too, because it's the same song split in 2, the drum loop is inspired by the intro of this song.
Yep. So you can
we get them a bit in our
and so they're the ones who dethroned the main this year. They're my top Spotify Wrapped list. I somehow managed to listen to like 100 hours of just day 6 this year.
Wow.
Yeah, which represents a third of all the music I listen to. And yep,
you are in the top what of their listener, like 0?
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it was top 0.5% of their listeners.
Yeah, okay, we can say you're a fan. I think we can.
Yeah, they're just so good, and there are some bands where you'll be like, I like this song, but I can go on and on about every single one of their tracks. Like I love all of their discography, their whole discography.
But that's nice. That's a great feeling when you discover something that like eat you up. If I say, it's like you get into it, you learn the song, you listen to them a lot, you went back into the older stuff, and that's just cool because it's like a universe that's opened up to you.
But it's crazy because, like I said, they've released 3 albums, 6 EPs, and EPs, but one of the EPs has 8 songs, and one of the albums has 18 songs or something like that. And then they had their two compilations, which is songs that they've released already, and then they had their Japanese album and Japanese singles. So when I created my all day 6 playlist, which I removed like instrumentals, I removed repeated songs. It's like an 8 or 10 hours, something like that playlist.
Oh, so it's a whole day of work.
Yeah, but so this is surprising considering this is a band that started in 2015.
Oh, okay. So they're pretty productive.
Yeah. And which is why a lot of people are sad because, they released their album, which was an EP in May, and then the subunit released an EP, but they're like, I guess their fans are used to more from
Yeah,
them.
but on the other hand, I understand why they
Yes.
are drained out
Absolutely. Absolutely.
in 3 years.
Apparently,
It's a lot of stuff. No, sorry,
no,
in
5 years,
5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Apparently, though, Jay said that they were already writing new stuff, so that's exciting.
Finger crossed for you.
Yeah, fingers crossed, because it's always sad getting into a band when, especially, you never know if a hiatus is permanent.
Yeah.
You always hope that it won't be, but you never know until they start doing things again. So here's hoping that they do start doing things again, because I would like to see them in concert.
In Korea.
Or here. They've been to Toronto a couple of times, or once,
Oh,
at least
okay.
once. Yeah.
You had a chance. There's a chance for you to see them.
Yeah. And now a big drum roll. What is your number one?
Number one. The album I listened the most this year, like for everything, because I enjoy it, because it's make me like uh, remove all the angst, and like when I was like tired or really happy or everything, this album was always there. I listened to it when I was running because I'm a runner. I listened to it when I was working. I listened to it outside this summer because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And this album was for me a really like, I don't know, maybe it's the same thing for you with Day Six, but when the album came out, it was like that was a perfect space for it in my life. Like at this moment, everything was adding to that.
It filled like a certain like emptiness that
Yeah, maybe I don't know, and that's funny because I didn't know the band before. Like someone posted about it. I have a little Facebook group with all my friend and related people in the big circle that like metal. Someone share it. I said, "Oh, I did. I will have a listen to this," and it's just click. It's the new album by Nick Rutt called Mortal. It's just straight up death metal. There's no like we said with Silosis. There's no like production or whatever. It's just like, and it's a short album.
straight.
It's a straight up bangers. It's just getting to the point. I don't know. Like I said, that was a surprise because I didn't know the band. So surprise, I discovered a band. And
So are both of our top ones are bands that we discovered this year.
yeah, hey, yes, yes.
Oh, crazy.
So that's cool. And like I said at the beginning of the show, that's what I like about the podcast. It's pushed me a bit to. I like music. I like discovering music, but the podcast like was always there. Like, oh, you have to listen to something like because we will talk about music, and I just jump into that band. I really enjoy it. Uh, like you did, I went back into the catalog. There's not a lot of album, but I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
It's
That's my number one.
funny. It's funny because you mentioned that you discovered this group randomly on Facebook through a post. I also discovered Day Six because I'm on this group called Subtle Asian Traits on Facebook, which is like about Asians posting stuff. And one girl, I think, posted, oh, everybody talks about K-pop, but K-rock doesn't get a lot of
Love.
exposure. So everybody should check out Zombie from Day Six.
Everybody.
Yeah. And so there are hundreds of posts that get posted on that site, on that group a day. And, I don't always see all of them. So it just happened that I saw this one. I clicked on it and fell in love. And I'm just thinking, like, what if I hadn't seen it?
What if?
Because I don't think I would have gone into them otherwise. Like, I don't think it would have been in my recommended on YouTube and Spotify is all around that. But before I didn't have anything. And
Yeah.
nobody I know listens to them. So,
So we continue to prove the point that you don't have to stop to listen to new music past 33 years old, because
yeah.
there's a study that came out like 2 or 3 years ago that suppose that people stop to discovering music when they're getting older. They just relate to what they used to listen to.
Nope.
So
Nope.
you have to open your mind. You have to try to discover new stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because
Oh,
we are top of the year are both new bands. And so I think that's pretty much a wrap for today.
yes.
So
So there's a couple albums in your list I would have to just at least have a listen
have a
to see.
listen to. So like I said, I'll also have to check out a couple of yours that are a little bit more in my alley.
Yes.
And so don't forget to check us out. We're the Sparkling Pod on Instagram, the Sparkling Pod on Twitter, which we've been neglecting a lot. Sparkling Harmonies on Facebook, the Sparkling Harmonies on any podcast listening system platform, and sparklingharmonies.com is our website.
Okay.
So, and I think we're the Sparkling Pod on YouTube as well.
Yes.
Yes. So this was Lily
And François.
and thanks for listening to us. We hope you've enjoyed our podcast so far. And like I said, we've already planned out very exciting episodes for 2021.
And we wish you a happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Enjoy what we can get this year, and we'll see you next year.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.